Good morning, everyone. This is Jeremy, I Space Creator. I think it's important to understand that people are coming on for the very first time. It's more that you get activated first. The reason why I say that is because it interlines its position locations and off signals everybody's travel. Okay, because it's all about connected to high interference. Once you get activated high stream location I-9 operation, you start recognizing yourself and each other to that provision locations. All right, it's important to understand that you just can't. It's kind of like walking on screen in a movie and nobody understands you. It's like you just got through security. So it's important to understand these things. All right, it's all given to a reason and a purpose. You guys are in point view to its location through identification, identifying yourself and each other. Okay, so that's important you have to understand. All right, so I said the rocket's surface in position directions, location to its system. It's all levels on high center. The aperture line center is communication to its graph. It's important to understand that because it's all connected to the galaxy system. Everybody will be surfacing into a different universal line. Now, you're not going to be no longer connected to the fluctuation line conditions to your sun and your moons. You're going to be communicating with a higher formation location of future line in directions to a new sun and a new moon position location that you don't understand through operation. This is a true understanding that when you travel faster, you have to understand what you're communicating with because there's other universes. There's not just your universe. You just got to find your memory line center. This is one track interference location, which is its fifth dimension line interference, fifth location of its position, the intention to its calculation, to its creation of its location. So it's important you understand all levels of you through travel. The more you understand the memory bank of you, the more you can travel faster into higher lines and see other position locations of suns and moons, different planet location of its position. But you have to understand the triangulation. Every planet is connected to everything, has to, because it's all connected to your cells. The particle position is all levels of you through directionalized system. Each cell is a representation of you through its membrane, has its own brain capacitor, has its own simulation, has its own universe, has its own galaxy, has its own position, location of directions, has its own chakra system, has its own mind, has its own program, has its own operation, has its own avatar system. It's all perceptions of you through motion. And that's why it's so powerful. Every pixelized center is position location to how you see its line interference to the sun position and everything to the moon position. Now, we talked about that already on TikTok, where basically you have to understand your position locations of direction. This is your panel. So this is what keeps you in sync. If this goes offline center, if it's like this and you change your thought lines to negative line interference, see what it's happened? So you got to revamp, recommunicate back in position to direction. So it's in position and directions, the 8 line in a rotation, back in the sun, back in the fluctuation, back in position location of your body system. All particle light is a representation of you and how you use it through triangulation. So it's all about understanding how you use your mainframe communication to membrane location. This is all levels of you through information. So you truly understand how to use your E-fields, understand the sound tones, sound patterns, communication line system. So when you're in that position, you have to truly understand how to use the eye receptors, how to use the sound barrier communication, how to use your voice box. But its position location to its flux capacitor, flux capacitor, flux capacitor to its position. All right. So there could be so many flux capacitor linear rotation because each chakra system is a representation to you through human resonance. It's how you coordinate your emotions. When you get up in the morning, how do you feel? Right? Where am I traveling to? What's the importance of going back? What's the importance of going forward? Well, the importance of going back is reference. It's not a force, it's a reference. If you go back and you use that position locations, you're creating a black hole. You're wind directing your galaxy line. You're setting up high timeline centers, wave in a center line interference location. So it's like going to Australia and all of a sudden you're trying to find this perfect wave and you see this big humongous wave come over you. And you're like, I'm out of here, right? So you're trying to control the wind, you're trying to control the weather, you're trying to control the water, but everything around you is being controlled. You are no longer in control because you can't control your thoughts. This is the true understanding what space and time does for you. Once you reach a high line center, after today, when you're in your rockets, you understand what I'm talking about is interline its position locations to all levels. Because if you don't understand the space of you and the time of you, how are you going to understand anything through travel location of your future integrations to a level to its position? Because when you reach higher levels of different intelligence and different formation location, it's in a different anomaly, different pattern, different coloration, different time, different space, different universe, different planet. Okay. So it's all about running its own program. And if you can't understand that program of you, you're going to have problems with your position, location, and direction. Okay. Because that's what the brain does. It programs its own position of time, of space. But you got to find the balance first with the male and the aspects of the female position of the flowing of timeline system. Okay. If you don't have the timeline center, it locks in division. See what's going on? This is balance, but it's confusing, right? So you got to find all different ways to get in rotation of center. Find the center operation that line directs the laser interference to eye receptor. See? Right there, eye receptor, center of everything. Okay, find the center of perception. That forces the communication line signal. You open up the graph line center, electrical light connection to its position, to its flux capacitor. Now it's open, right? So you set up a graph interference, right? Okay, that's setup position. You have a projector. Comes up position location, set up a graph interference. Change that position, comes back. Recenter position locations and templates. 2 here, 2 position line interference. 1 in north line center as a reference, east-west line center, south in position of directions. Flux capacitor high center, pyramid activation line stream, line cross signals and both line position location to its direction, to its hologram interference location, to its rotation system, to its computer operation line center, to its moon surface. Okay, so it's truly understanding is the integration location where the mind comes on its own line center to its own program location, which the brain is the computer and the mind is the simulator. Now, once you have that all together, it's in a process on its own. But if you don't understand your sun positions and your positions of the moon, you're offline positions. So you start off like this, right? Sun's here, moon's there. So it's in rotation like this. Okay. So this is a perfect angle line center. Truly understand what your sun is doing. Okay. But it's in position. You're not separating. But if you separate, sun goes off, moon goes off. So how do you get that back in position? Coordinates position, back in traction. So really understand that, are you controlling your mind or is the mind controlling you? Whoa, think about that for a second. Just take that for a split second, know exactly how powerful it is. Once you understand you are controlling everything inside, which is controlling everything that you do through travel, through clocking. And then you come back in position. Right? So it's communicating, then it comes back together. It's a magnet. It stays together. Sun's here, moon's there. So you can shift back and forth. You know, it's like this. You know, when you come with, you're at the circus and you're rotating. It's like 3 are going up, 4 are going up, 5 are going up, right? But it's all in balance. It's all in balance. It's all in balance. So that's what it is. Life is balancing. So it's mind conception of thought, its position of direction. So if you're off position location of your thoughts, you're not in position location to your sun or your moon until you understand both. Integrating 2 into 1 is 1 position locations. Okay. So when you're traveling Highline Center, you see only this position location, 1 graph line center is one position of directions, right? Like this. See? Remember saying, don't look at my hand, look at me. And you see this, you'll see this come out. So once you send the bounce of the sun moon position, it goes faster. And then it comes into position location of all levels of geometry location of its position of a Merkaba. It creates its own travel on its own. So now you're controlling the mind and its program into one, two into one, right? So if you're not controlling your system from inside of operation, everything is controlling you from outline in, not inside out. All right. That's important you have to understand. All right. So how's everybody doing on a Saturday? Let's see here. Veronica, Missy, Lindsay, Gypsy, Pam, Jill. Okay, Airbender, Terry, Don, Heather, Johnny, Michael, Jem, all position locations, Sammy. All right, so pre-flight check is basically all levels of view. Well, okay, so it's important to understand these things because you're going to be coming into like traction interference of manipulation, and that's going to understand you more through position. So all you got to do is understand the mind, a program. That's all this is. That's all it ever will be. If you can't control space of you, space is controlling you. If you can't control space inside you, space is controlling you and time. That's important you have to understand. Balancing the light of manipulation and balancing the dark of manipulation. Taking two force line triangles in position location into one position and one signal. One clocking, one line connections. Fast track its interference. Right to its position. Right? What's the intent? What's the will? What's the force? What's the creation? What's the location? Why is it in 5 line? Why is it in 6 position of center? Why is it in 7 location to your body? And why is it 5 atmospheres of time? So mastering the body of 7, then you mastering the 5 of atmosphere, you got 12. There's your 12. There's your runway. You're done. Good. Now you go back into geometry and start creating. You start creating travel. So once you understand that, then you understand the importance, why you are controlling the mind of the conception of its alignment. Because if you're not controlling the anomaly, everything around you is going to be controlling you from inside. It's unfortunate, but that's how that works. Okay? You don't understand because the thing is the avatar has to understand the weather. The avatar has to understand the intelligence. The avatar has to understand its color. It has to understand its lights. It has to understand its travel. It has to understand its Merkaba. It has to understand its power. It has to understand its atmospheres. It has to understand its pre-flight. It has to understand its position. It has to understand its operation, guys. That alone is all levels of perception and manipulation. Okay? Focus on the clarity of you and nothing else, and everything will fall into place. And then you become a flower recognition of space and time of yourself, which is a beautiful thing. It's the harmonized to its position location that gives it open windows to all levels of space-time division. And now you're starting to understand the operation of you because you're controlling it from inside and you're controlling everything from outside. That's manifestation. Okay, so in calculations, I'll set up the coordinates, high interference position of direction. So we got the crew units, the squad units, 1 to 2 line center, in position at GFL, rebellion location ascending, and position locations all levels. High interference locations to master communications of Ascension God's communications cycle. Try to understand the importance of levels of view, and I keep saying that more and more each day, right? So if you're not controlling your mind, you're definitely not controlling your thoughts. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And that's why you guys are not calculated modified, because you don't understand your soul. Because you don't understand the sun, you don't understand the moon, position, location, and directions. Now, I'm giving you all this for today is because you're going to integrate locations to a sun that you don't understand and a moon you don't understand through plateau or anything through its information, to a new sun position location, to a new universe line center, to its rocket surface location, right? So code signalized centers, atmospheric communication of change, high line center, rocket surface, rocket man, high position locations, rocket woman in high interference location, high channel high line center location of cruise, all line center line conditions, all positions. All right, we go into squad lines, go in communication line interference. Travel position location of directions, set signal and position location of GFL, light signals and position of high center, open all communication line system, ascending master communication system, ascending high interference locations, climbing the wall, line center interference, position or direction, universal change, communication all levels, graph interference location at galaxy line system, open all track line centers, all position of fluctuation line conditions, 100 chakras in high line center to 114 position of directions, put positional light interference in position location high connections to ascension gods, communicate high interference location and direction. Ooh-ah. So from here to here, you're here now. So vortex communication, change particle light center line in position, high center and position locations. Channel is high line center, change the ground interference in position and directions. Now this channels into fluctuation line centers, opens all communication line center, puts you guys in a future line center to integrate location and its position. You always have to have a flux capacitor to travel locations. So we're going to count from 10 to 1, and you guys will automatically particle system change position right into the rocket, right in surface locations. You have to know exactly, all right, am I in the hemisphere, stratosphere, or bio, or the branium? That alone, the avatar understands the position of space and everything through timeline conditions to its brain capacity. If you don't understand the brain of a position location, you're not understanding your thoughts recognition. Okay. All right. So in calculations, line screen system. Signal and 4 line center position of directions. High signal and position locations. Down cross high stream, electrical light connections and 3 waving system locations. All right. Now it's set in signal in directions. All right. So setting course line channels. You're in a time clock center line position locations. All right. So modify high line center interference locations. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Initiate. Blast off. All right, have fun. 30 minutes. All right, so in that calculation mind stream, it's knowing exactly what you know through weather patterns, how do you use your voice line center interference, position, and directions. Understanding the future line connections. Now, your sun and your moon is automatically on standby. Okay, it's like sitting everything out in position. You're now integrating to a high line, a frequency of a higher bounce of communication, no longer in your universe. You're in another universe line center in position of force line and more into future locations. Integrating to a future of a sun line and integrating location to its moon, a position to its Wi-Fi. Different sun, different moon. Have fun. All right, so let's go back in triangulation. I really want you to understand these things, especially understanding the travels of you inside position. You have to control all levels of you of operation. All levels of operation. As soon as you get up in the morning, where are you in division location? Are you off signaling? Where are you traveling? You got a miracle line center and position locations. This is all levels of meteor. Okay, it's crevicing and position location and directions. Right? So this is you. Right? This is traveling you. You get up in the morning. This is what's happening with you. You see a rain shower. A position location, radioactive line system, a meteor shower. So what are you going to do? You're going to go around, or are you going to introduce your locations? Are you going to scan line center? What are you going to do position location? What are you going to do? If you go around, it's going to detect line center. It's going to read your heat signature pattern. It's going to follow you in position. This is what's going to happen. This happened to me. It's going to happen to you. So truly understand high interference. So once you ignore locations, this is what happens. You're flying away, right? But you got a meteor following you location. So how do you get rid of it? Go back and signal, knowing exactly what you're dealing with to its calculation system. Okay? Scan its highline center. Basically, you can get rid of these things. So you obviously know a meteor line center is not a positive line interference position directions, right? Set a wall line center interference location. Your adaptation line center is getting rid of position of particle line center line condition, knowing exactly what you're seeing through matching light system. It position location to your phenomenal line in rotation, changes space anomaly connections, and it disappears in high system. So it's all about clear view, clarity, line, and rotation to get rid of these things. Now it's gone. See, it disappears, and then you can move on, right? These are all understanding things that you can't avoid anymore. See, it's gone. Now, all you can do is go back where you want to go in position, travel anywhere you want to go until you come across something else. Out you go. So it's important you understand these things because you come across these things. It's understanding structure individual locations online to all position location to a maze. Let's say you get a maze position location directions. Now it's 20 million triangles and high interference position location. Let's start off with that. It's just a cubical line, but it's got 4 line center position of directions. Base view location. That's all we see. We don't see anything else. But in position locations, you have to see the line center location of south. You got to see north. You got to see east, and you got to see west of what you're dealing with through its position. And once you understand that, then you understand the triangulation. Once you understand that, you understand the center operation. Once you understand that, you can travel this location. Ooh-ah. So it's truly understanding what is going on with you every single day. If your mind is not controlled through space, everything is being controlled through you. And it's all being through manipulation. Right? That's what you don't understand. And every time you get too confused with and confused on this angle, confused on that angle, you're confusing your location to your avatar. Right? And you start forgetting about yourself. And then you start worrying about everybody else. It's not your job to worry. It's your job to remember. That's all it is. That's all this is for yourself to remember. Okay? So that's the biggest thing I can give you guys. But you're going to be across these things every single day the rest of your life, which is a positions to locations to a new beginning. There's never an end to anything in position of space and time. Space doesn't have an end. It's ongoing. It's a constant flow. You just got to balance the male and the female of you. That's all it is, through light and dark. Because light can be manipulated, and so can dark through perception. So whatever you're seeing through calculations, it's only a reflection of you, nobody else. Even if you see that person as somebody else, has no relation to that position locations. It's because that's what you're thinking. If you're thinking of a name, that's a perception. If you're thinking of a number, that's a perception, right? You have to understand the difference between both. You have to understand either that number or letter or shape or symbol is going to take over your avatar, or you're going to understand how to control what you're seeing through perception, right? Balancing the light and balancing the dark is yin and yang, guys. That's all it is. You got to balance the male and the female aspects of you, of the avatar stream. Okay? That's important you have to understand. That's all this is. Or everything around you is going to be controlling your system. You got to stop getting in your physical lines, adaptation, of confusion, location, and aggression. You have to start being the avatars, being the control of the avatar, being the confidence of the avatar, being the command of the avatar. That's what you want. Okay? You proceed to that, then you become successful. But you have to understand humility. You have to understand disappointment. You have to understand what loss is. And then you start winning, right? That comes into characteristics, locations. That comes into discipline. That comes into commitment. That's what this is. That's all this is. Okay? So it's minuscule when you start worrying about the little stuff. Stop worrying about these things and just focus on what you want to do is to remember who you are. And everything else will plateau into balanced location. Guaranteed. It's about helping you along the way, not just remembering who you are. You're teaching you through the aspects of what is going on. How do I understand the integration? Well, what do I understand the calculation of vortex? What is that? What's acceleration? What's quantum physics? What's quantum 101? What's a quantum channel line interrotations to a quado? See, this is very powerful stuff because it's all connected inside of you, and it's how you see yourself through representation of its vessel. What do you want to do through that calculation line conditions? Right? It's all about balancing yourself from inside, which bounces everything outside line condition. Right? Inside first. Then you have the outside. Create what you want from inside, and then everything from inside comes outside through projection. And now you're looking at you fully, completely through a cycle. Things get a lot more easier once you understand the adaptation of your thoughts is all levels of positive. Because the negative becomes positive becomes negative, but it's balancing the negative to positive to a position location to turn on a light bulb. There you go. Light stays on. So that's all you have to do is keep your lights on. That's all. So when you keep your lights on, everything position and location, high rises faster. Right? Right? So let's say you're in a bad mood. Let's say you're in a really, really bad mood. You get angry and you get more stress. So what are you doing to your avatar? What are you doing? You're destroying your system. From what? Minuscule line center interference location of confusion. Right? You're trying too hard. You're thinking too hard. You're not thinking enough. Forget all that. Just get into the flow. You want to create something, create it, and then let it go. Don't think, when am I going to get this package? Boy, oh boy, I manifested it like 2 or 3 weeks ago and it's not here yet. Because you're worrying about it. You've already manifested, so don't put it back in position of clocking. It changes all levels of you direction, guys. Right? You have to win the situation every single day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, because that's what you live on signal. But once you understand your graph line centers and you really understand how to control the mind of a collaboration location to its computer, of its brain, of its simulation, then you understand the power of direction of space and time. Okay? That's the only way you're going to be able to recognize your system. Okay? But until then, you're always going to be in manipulation. You have to be. You have to be in manipulation to understand the difference between light and dark of the avatar. Because it's a plasma light. It's a translucent pattern. It can be anything through form. It can be anything through transformation. It can be anything through the sun. It can be anything through the moon. Okay? You just have to understand the integration of what you're seeing in the first place. Because if you don't understand these things, you're dwelling, you're hesitating, you're thinking, I don't know. Is that a skyline interference, position of directions? I'm not sure. Right? So if you're not sure, you're not going to go into that timeline and find out what it is, are you? So if you're not sure of something, you're not going to follow through. You're going to back away. Go back to the drawing board and figure, what did I just do? I got lost. Right? So it's position of directions. Now you can set up clarion calls. Clarion call is basically reaching online central location intelligence, the AGELIX locations. It's all about helping yourself first, but really understanding the program of you is space anomaly. Space anomaly and time anomaly are 2-track locations that has to be the integral locations of 2 into 1. Because if you can't integrate the physical into the avatar, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a huge problem. You're going to look at every aspect of your life and see a problem down the road. Every time you get up in the morning, you're looking at everything negative and you're focusing on what? You're not focusing on you. You're focusing on the problem. There's no problem in space. There's no problem in time. There's only problems with you. Okay? Point view taken on any line, center line, interference locations. You can't point fingers to everybody else. Has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you and what you're seeing and perceiving through your perception. Okay. Stop focusing on everything outside and start focusing and trusting your system of inside locations, knowing exactly what you're doing through your realms and your portals and your jump scars. The more you understand that through division, the more you can understand the correlation to its avatar. Living the existence of the avatar is the integration, not the physical system, because now you're confused. And the communication will be off signal. So you got to put it back in track interference. Always together, always together, always together, never separated. Okay? You can't separate your mind, you can't separate your brain, you can't separate your thoughts. Okay? You can't even separate your consciousness, even if you try. Right? But what you can separate is your ego. That's the true understanding where it plateaus and so many division line interference location as releasing all calculations to your implantation. And what you're seeing is perceiving to its precise location. Okay? That's why you guys are having so many problems. Because every time you look up anything that you see, you're looking at it as a problem. You're not seeing it as a result. That's why you can't get these things. Well, General, I don't know. Like, I try my best, but it's not working because I don't understand my avatar. Or General, my physical line center is not adaptation to its clocking system. Or General, I got a headache. Or General, I got a migraine. How do I get rid of this? You're looking at everything through problem and no solution. Why? Why? The why becomes the how. Right? As soon as you stop doing this and start paying attention, everything comes into the light. And then the process, then you understand all levels of the mind, is starting to control levels of you. You're starting to understand the controlling of you in space, which is controlling the time of capacitor, which is controlling your levels of clocking, and everything around you. You're just focusing on you. You. Don't focus on anything else. I try to keep saying that to everybody, but everybody seems to be doing the wrong position, location, and directions. Focus on yourself. That's it. Don't focus on what you see, because it's just the perception of you. Making sense of anything is making sense why these things are happening in the first place. It's about releasing, guys. Breathing. Power of recognition of time, of spaces, all levels of you. You control you. Don't let things control you. And that's where it gets all chaotic and confused, right? Especially when you don't understand things over time. So your provision location is just leveling up things. How to bounce the security measures of you, times the clocking, times the position, times of all synchronicities and locations. Why am I seeing this? Why am I seeing that? I don't understand this. I don't understand that. Because you're always looking at a problem. Find the solution, find all levels of its results. I guarantee it, you find a way to position. You don't find a way, you are the way. So it's kind of like, I don't ask this question, I know the question. You have to change the mind. That's the only way you can integrate the location to the avatar. The avatar is you. All you understand is the physical system is in a higher vibration, which doesn't understand the avatar. The avatar is you in a higher line center, which is a translucent pattern that's all calculated to its clocking system of 24, 48, 72, and 144 in position of direction. Yeah, exactly. You can come into jeopardy. But truth surfaces more and more, and it correlates its position location into energy that confuses your anomalies, which put position location of directions to online center offline position. You just got to balance the two into one. You got to balance the right line and the left line position locations of dark and light and dark. Or you're always going to have problems, and you're going to always look down the road and see a problem without a result. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Everybody's focusing on everything that they see and have no clue what's going on with their perception, right? You can't blame people. They are going through their own spiritual growth and trying to figure out what is the avatar to them. That's the integration location. The physical line system only has to understand the telepathy of you. That's why I say the inner child is extremely important. And then you come into your soul recognition. Then you come to your avatar. Anything higher than that, you're communicating to your computer. Anything higher than that, your high force line center in position location of higher line systems. So you start with the grounds, the powers, and the atmospheres. That's the basic. That's the ABCs and the 1, 2s, and 3s. But don't find a problem. Find a solution. That's the only way you understand locations of your thoughts. Okay? Thoughts give you everything that you want through manifestation, but it's how to understand the co-creation, how to create it in the first place. You have to see these things, really integrate locations, actually see it in your hands. Wow, this is incredible. I actually see it. You manifest it, activate it, it's gone. But you don't realize, is it still there? Where did it go? Don't question anything. Just let it go. Let it flow until you want another manifestations. But don't create the thoughts until you understand position. Your mind's got to be open because space is okay. Space is not. That's not space. That's confusion. You're allowing yourself to confuse locations. So you got the integration of the physical line center, which is English location, 26 letter line interference. And then you got the avatar line interference location. All lines have a stream interference location. So you're going, you're never going to get in position of balance of yin and yang. Space is open mind, a concept. It's the controlling of space inside you. If you can't control that, you've got a problem. You understand? If you can control the space of the mind, adaptation of your thoughts, you're on your way to being successful, of co-creating. Okay? Don't think of a thought until you know exactly what it is through creation. Right? That's the biggest thing. What is the intent? So it's all about understanding it's already stored. It's a cloud. It's ready for you. It comes back at you. So it's all levels of you through computer, through adaptation. Understanding the storage, understand the facility, understanding the memory bank. Yeah, it's all levels of confidence. It's knowing that it's already happened, knowing that you're going to get it. Not like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't know. Did I do it right? So if you're not sure, you know you didn't do it right because you just changed the position location to its alphabetical, it's like negative line center. So what did you just do to yourself? What did you just do? You confused location. Right? That's not space. I'm sorry. That's a drama. That's a TV series. That's a soap opera. So what you're doing is you're creating your own soap opera in your own mind with your own perceptions. You can have triangulations of 4 line position, location, directions, and have 4 different levels of travels. And not know exactly what's going on through you through perception. Right? Hold on a second. Do you understand how important it is, guys? Do you really understand? Right? You know, I could stand here all day and huff and puff and blow your house down, but still not know what to do. You know, the 3 little pigs. Imagine that, right? So first there's a straw, then there's a piece of wood, and then there's cement, right? Huff and puff and blow your house down. Why couldn't he blow down on the house in the cement? Because he thought he was almighty. He didn't realize that, oh my gosh, I lost my power. Right? Now that's all metaphorically. That's a fantasy location. But I'm trying a way to make you understand why it's so important is to control everything around you. Because if you don't, everything around you is going to be controlling you from inside and out through your thoughts. So you don't have any control of anything anymore. That's the problem. If you can't find a way to control you, everything around you is going to be controlled. Yes, it's all about you. That's all this is. Not what you see. Let me say that again. It's not what you see through travel. That is trauma. And that's you're creating your own trauma, nobody else's. Whatever you see, it doesn't matter what you see through perception. You are manipulating your own mind adaptation. Nobody else is doing that, only you. You're creating your own story of drama. You're creating your own position of film. You're creating your own projection through your perception locations. Nobody else is doing that. You're doing that on your own. You're creating your own reality, all through you. That's why you can't understand you, because all you do is look at everything negative. Stop doing that. That's all you got to do. Find something beautiful inside of you, which brings out a line center interference and position of flow or recognition of time. The unified awakening is the most beautiful thing to have inside. Stop pointing fingers at people. That's what you got to do. Focus on yourself. It's a beautiful thing, right? Everything works out if you allow it. But when you're seeing things through perception, it's all levels of you through perception. It doesn't matter who you see, or it doesn't matter what's going on through manipulation. It's important to understand you, and what you're seeing is balancing you, trying to balancing what you're seeing. That's what it is. That's your truth. That's your sovereignty. And that's your freedom. Okay? This is the most powerful thing I can give everybody. If you focus on that, you'll get where you need to be. You'll start remembering more of you, and everything that comes into your window through perception, you know exactly what it is through manipulation. All right? Ooh-ah. So there you go. Yeah, it's a big, big truth bomb. Because everybody focuses on everything else and not focusing on them. And the reason why they're getting so emotional and attached is because they think that's what they were in position of direction. That's not you. That's not even inclination of you. So what are you releasing? Things that no longer surface. And all position location. Don't have things controlling you in any way and form from inside. Because I guarantee it, everything from inside and out will be controlling you in space and time. Okay? That is the importance you have to understand. Okay? You have better travels, better mind conception, better story frame, better calculation, better activation, better abundance, better surrender, and your discernments to your manifestation. I don't want you to get in position where things are being controlled. Because if you can't control you, that is a huge problem. Because all you're looking at is everything negative. You know? Why are you seeing everything around you negative? Because everything inside is beautiful. Everything inside is perfection in your way and form. Sure, it has faulties, communication system. Sure, you get into pods and negative line center. Sure, you get emotional and happy. You can't be happy every day. You can't be sad every day. You have to balance all levels of you of smiles and cries. That's all this is. Those are the two things that you have aligned position, location, directions. Your smiles and your cries. It's all levels of your emotion, because that's all you live in thought. You're trying to understand the levels of you through memory, but everything that you see through perception down the road doesn't make any sense. because you don't understand it's a perception of you. Nothing else, nothing more. It's just a reflection of you. Nothing else, nothing more. Everything outside doesn't make any sense because things can be brought in and taken over. So focusing on you focuses on your clarity, focus on your abundance, focus on your surrender, focus on your discernments, and focus on your manifestation gets you your freedom. And all of the system location in your thoughts. Okay. So there you go. That's going to help everybody out with the travels now, isn't it? Okay, let's see here. Balance of results, solution to find abundance. Yes. Abby, how's it going? Working and listening, doing my job, just in the background. This is going good. It's wild. I start making the planets 6 months ago, and now it's complete. Oh, there you go. See? Seeing my physical, emotional bodies. But like I said, guys, just focus on yourself because that's what it is. If you don't focus on yourself, you're never going to get yourself going forward. And every time you get up in the morning, you have no control of your mind or your body, your heart or your soul. Okay? Those are the things you have to look at. You have to learn how to balance the mind, how to balance the body of the mind, how to balance the mind, the body of the heart and the soul every single day through your thoughts. Because if it's not in control system, everything around you is going to be controlled from inside out. So this is what can happen when you look at a perception and realize, I'm being manipulated. Oh no, what's going on? But what's going on here is that it's just you through perception. You're seeing what you need to see through that person or whatever you're interacting with, realizing that it's just a program. But it's real. You're just releasing. Right? And you all have to understand how to use shadow works. Shadow works gives you what you need to understand all levels of you. The clarity and the focus is you. When you get up in the morning, you focus on you. When you go to bed, you focus on you, right? So what are you doing every single day? Trying to remember who you are. You just got to balance everything that you see that comes across position, location of space and time, right? Because if you can't find control, you're going to have a huge problem in position of life. Okay? That's the biggest thing I can give you in history. Okay? Focus on yourself. See, if you focus on yourself, everything starts making sense. And you realize all the perceptions that comes at you, you know it's just a program. You realize, oh, this is cool. But then you can understand the connections, what light is, and understand what dark is. This is dark. This is light. Dark here, light here. Right? So it's true to understand that position locations. Why is this light? This light is reflecting to this. Why is this dark? Because it's reflecting to the wall. Balance. Everything is balance in space and time. The one thing you have to balance is the avatar. The avatar to the physical, not the physical to the avatar. That's what you guys have been living too long. Your adaptation in your program line center is offline interference location. Central line does understand its heart position location and directions because you all timeline center interference and all you look down in position location is negative cycle. Because you can't find a result. Because you keep creating your own problems. Everybody talks too much and nobody listens. Let me say that again. Everybody talks too much and nobody listens. Like, are you really listening to the music? Or are you hearing the music? Are you listening or hearing? Listening or hearing? What are you doing? Do you understand the tone? Do you understand the pattern? Do you understand the frequencies? Do you understand the balance of music inside of you? It's an orchestra. It's a flow. You don't have your flow, you are not controlling your system from inside. And everything that you see comes out you through perception is controlling you. Okay? Stop looking for problems and start looking for results. And you'll see a major difference in your system locations of your central system. Okay? Especially when you're traveling. The confusion line center is the physical system is reacting to everything that it sees, right? Like, for example, Barbara's seeing outline center of Jessica. Jessica's seeing Amber. Amber's seeing Terry. Terry's seeing Tara. Tara's seeing Johnny. Johnny's seeing Michael. So on and so on and so on. But they're seeing what they want to see through perception of light and position of dark and position of location to its high system. Now, how are you going to get balanced with all that? Right? Because light can be manipulated and so can dark. How do you balance that out? How do you balance it out? Stay in the heart center. You stay in the heartline center, everything in perception will change. And then you'll see the true light of Terry. And then you see the true light of Amber. And then you see the true light of Tara. And then you see the true light of Johnny. And then you see the true light of Michael and Jessica. That's how this works. Your travels are very real. Your manifestations are very real. You're reconstructing you back together. That's all this is. The avatar knows. The physical has to understand the telepathy, which is all levels of you from inside. Start controlling your system and stay positive. Be positive. I am positive. These are the things you have to look at. Look at 3-line center interference. What makes you positive location when you get up in the morning? What makes you sad? Retrack interference. Back in clocking. Now I'm back in balance location, heart-line system. Well, I'm not sad anymore. Don't even remember why I was sad. So it's truly understanding all levels of you from inside, guys. All right. That's how you have to put yourself and pull yourself together. Okay. Best advice I can give you, on all level system locations. All right. So I'm going to take you out of track line center. It's way over high interference locations. In position of directions, that's signaling high center locations, 8 views and 60 positions, all levels of followers, follower communication of views, position location of live, line center, line condition interference, position of 52, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now you're back. Now you're interesting why you're asking me, why did I go up in high center interference location? Because you're in another universe line. In position, you guys are back now. So it's interesting how you go from force line communication. You start with the ground line centers from 10 to 1 and then 1 to 10. But when you get into higher levels of universe, it's different position, location of intelligence, voice box location, is calculation of planet surface, position, location is operation. All right. So given this to all levels of you is understanding what this is. What is it? Doesn't have an ego. It's a structure. It's interesting. Well, what do you use it for? To drink. Has a top, has a lid. You drink from it. Doesn't cause a problem, but it knows what it is. So what do you do with it? You drink from it, right? So this attorney is stating what this is. It all has balance. Everything in life around you has balance. One thing that doesn't have balance is humanity. That's all this is. You just got to balance the frequencies and the vibration, and it affects you in all levels of emotion. You take these things personally because you don't understand the balance of the avatar. That's all this is. You don't understand the balance of frequencies. That's why you take everything so personal. Stop doing that. Start living the avatar. And the physical line is there for you, right? On its ground, right? That's the position that you guys have to come into. That's going to help you in all ways and forms. That's going to put you in a better position location, how to get out of the light of a manipulation and get in the position location, how to turn dark into light. Oh, turning dark into light? You can do that. But you got to find a way. And you can't do that if you focus on everything else. Don't look at the objectives and what everybody else is doing. Just look at you, because everything around them is already fixed. You don't see that because you don't want to see that, because you're always looking at a problem. And you wonder why you can't manifest this. You wonder why you're in this position location in the first place. You wonder why you're sick, right? It's because you're allowing yourself to be sick. And this is all levels of vibration. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Okay. Your body is not meant to be sick. Never, ever. But you allow it because you understand the position, location, and how to balance these things inside line system, because you allow everything around you control you. Let me say that again. You let everything around you control you. From outside in or inside out, doesn't matter. But what matters is, are you balanced? Right? That's the objective. That's the connection. If you're not balanced in center and position, location, all levels, you're losing track locations, aren't you, of yourself and each other. Focus on you. All right. So that is my space and time of 2 cents. So you take it as position of direction, or you take it as position, location of solution. Whatever you want. It's up to you. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun going through the rocket surface. You guys can talk about it, aligned condition interference. Tomorrow's no school. Day off for me, if you know you. You have any questions or comments, let me know. Keep me informed of what's going on. We have Controls 101 starting next week. Just getting calculation line centers, send me an email just to confirm, okay, who is set in position location of the list and position of directions to get in that calculations all levels into your travel direction of time to space and space location of time. All right. Adios.